Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
I ran up the stairs like so fast. Original link to the video, top of the description, right below that link to the Discord. Man, he is crushing me. Okay. Most interesting London roof? A train video, that could be cool. Ooh, and an artificial earthquake truck. I like it. You know, I usually watch Tom Scott videos in threes, so that's why I'm doing that.
A roof. What?
Let's do the longest, no, artificial earthquake first. Okay. Original link to the video, top of the description, right below that link to the Discord. Click on it, send it right over there. I'd love to have you. Does he have a sponsor? If he does, I'll go to the link. Hey, I love Tom Scott videos. Love them.
In the first Jurassic Park movie, in the first Jurassic Park
movie, water.
There was that scene with the glass of water in the car's cup.
I immediately knew what he was going to say.
Holder with ripples on it to show just how heavy the approaching T-Rex's footsteps were. Well, this thing behind me is technically called the Large Mobile Shaker, but the folks here at the University of Texas, they call it the T-Rex because it's a machine designed to shake the ground itself.
We have 5 shakers. They go from a small one that's right behind me, and we call that an urban shaker because you can bring it downtown and not get into trouble with shaking. And then we have very, very large ones, Liquidator and T-Rex. Liquidator is a low-frequency vertical shaker where we generate surface waves, like surface waves from earthquakes, but ours are linear typically, and earthquakes can be nonlinear. T-Rex is a triaxial shaker. Triaxial means that the shaker only one at a time. It can shake vertically, it can shake horizontally, and it can go transverse. It can go up to about 60,000 pounds force vertically and about half horizontally.
The T-Rex is on a fairly low setting right now, but don't worry, we're going to be turning it up shortly. It doesn't feel like much here right now, but we'll get there. And you might think that this would just be used for destructive effects or validating computer models. No, this is useful for research.
Could you have it do other things?
You might think that this would just be used for destructive effects or validating computer models. No, this is useful for research and exploration.
We have been all over the United States. We have sensors that we've designed, and we will push in because they're pushing rams on the back of Liquidator and T-Rex so that we can install sensors and then watch the wave go down. Many times we're watching the wave propagate away from us, but other times it's very helpful to watch the wave going down and seeing how poorly the soil might behave due to large amplitude shaking, which is what you don't want.
We've now switched to horizontal shaking, and this is about half of what the T-Rex can do. I've only ever been in an earthquake once in my life. It was very slight, but it felt like this. The ground underneath my feet, the thing that you rely on. Right now, it just isn't stable anymore.
We just came back from Wyoming, where they're going to build new power plants. And the earthquake design
Yellowstone,
is critical.
we forgot.
We generated a 6,000-foot long wave. Now, we generated a 2-foot long wave too, but going through the range. So that means we could evaluate the stiffness profile down to a half a mile with no boreholes. That is really a true accomplishment and a very, very cost-effective addition to the design of the plant. So this is a sensor. It's a big magnet with a coil. The coil's going through the magnetic field. We were out there in Wyoming and the darn cows walked by. Fortunately, they didn't break any cables, but we had to stop testing because they made more noise. They were right out there and we were a half a mile away.
And this is the highest setting that the team are allowed to use here on campus. As we just show off what we can do. 27 tons of force being pushed into the ground. Only 10 times a second here. 30, it turns out, doesn't show up on a 30-second camera. And the world is
my goodness, every time we go someplace, we'll make sure the level won't damage structures. Once we were on the UCLA campus and
That
maybe
powerful?
didn't watch what we were doing so much, and people came running out of the building, and that got us in trouble.
I still don't understand what the purpose, like,
Looked impressive. The Royal Albert Hall is one of the
I
most
understand the purpose, but like,
famous and prestigious concert halls in Britain and the world. It's 150 years old, and basically every world-famous musician and band has performed here at some point. The trouble is, the science of acoustics wasn't really well developed back in the 19th century. A tall, oval-shaped auditorium with a domed glass roof, well, it looked impressive and regal, but it created an accidental echo chamber, the exact opposite of the focused sound that you'd want for a concert. Beautiful location, terrible sound. To see how they fixed it, we need to go up to the parts that the public aren't allowed into.
It was constructed without any thought to acoustics, really, but it was also glazed. It was daylit, naturally lit. A Prince of Wales, who became King Edward VII, made a speech there at the public opening. Everyone heard his voice twice. So immediately they had to do something to solve the acoustics, and they installed
sorry, that'd be really cool to like be there during a thunderstorm with like all the rain.
of Wales, who became. So immediately they had to do something to solve the acoustics, and they installed what's called a calico velarium. It's like a sailcloth hung from the roof. It was partially successful. The inner glazed roof suffered from leakage, broken glass panes as a result of the Second World War, and also daylight really wasn't suitable for a modern hall. The inner glazing of the dome was removed and replaced in 1949 by a aluminium velarium, which is what you see there now. In the late 1960s, the now iconic mushrooms were added to the hall. They are suspended convex diffusers, and they help cut down the echo tremendously. In 2019, the sound system was replaced completely with...
It seems like they did everything right that would make a horrible music hall in the beginning, and they're having to like fix everything
in the hall, and the subjective response, the reaction from audiences has been absolutely tremendous.
This is right at the top of the hall. That is the glass roof. It is 40 meters down to the floor. And just through there is an air vent called the Corona, and running across it is a tensioned steel mesh to let the technicians access it. I am assured by the team here that it is fail-safe and I can walk on it. Guy, hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Corona.
Oh, he's not
It's a
worried.
lot cooler in here. Must be. Oh, I looked down. I should not have looked down. I mean, you're health and safety officer here, right?
That's right, yeah.
You're just casually standing on the mesh.
Yep. Feel free to step out with me.
That's a full fear response from me. I was going to say, is there anything I can grab onto?
That's very greasy, so most people hold my hand,
But if you fall
including the fire
too,
brigade.
I was going to ask, like, who has to come out here? Oh my God, it bounces. It bounces. Who has to come out here?
Technicians, people who need to put shows on and rigging.
Ha ha ha. Putting all my weight on that foot is so difficult. Bloody hell.
well, put it.
Oh my God, don't bounce.
The weight of the Royal Albert Hall roof, the dead weight of the wrought iron structure is about 340 tons. The roof itself in total can take about 1,000 tons, inclusive of all permanent and imposed loads such as wind and snow loading. There is approximately 100 motorised chain hoists which hang from the original wrought iron structure of the roof, which vary in their load rating, but some can carry up to 1 to 2 tons of show infrastructure. We have lighting rails which support lighting, sound speakers, as well as the mushrooms which provide the acoustic dampening of the auditorium. The mushrooms, despite their quite substantial size, only weigh around 40 kilograms. All of the mushrooms show
So I'm guessing the mushrooms work as the noise waves from the concert are traveling up, that would be reflected on the ceiling and back down. They're interrupted on their way up, and then they're also interrupted on their way down by going through the mushrooms.
Which provide the acoustic dampening of the auditorium. The mushrooms, despite their quite substantial size, only weigh around 40 kilograms. All of the mushrooms, show infrastructure, speakers is all hung from the original wrought iron roof structure.
I I'm not sure I can move right now. I'm genuinely...
Just look forward. Just look forward and walk. Just walk. There's no way you can fall. There's no way you can fall. Just walk. Look.
What's the difference between iron and wrought iron?
Look at the pole, and that's it. You've done it. Well done.
Thing is,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's all. I know it's all in my head.
Oh, just shaped.
Because the pole is connected exactly the same as this grid is.
So this is the corona, the crown, and that is the oculus above us.
It's creaking.
That's the heat expanding, so temperatures are regularly in the 30s and 40s.
Typically, whenever there's a fall from height risk, the factor of safety on the material properties that would go into the design of the tension wire grid is 5 to 1, which means there's a 5-fold weight allowance of the material property which it can support.
But the most surprising thing of all about this roof is not how they fix the acoustics, it's not this terrifying technician's trampoline, it's just out there. And the best way to see that is from the outside. I'm going to need a hand. I just...
Feel free.
Look, even if it breaks through and this fails, you're going to be caught on one of these beams, and if one of those fails, maybe you get caught on a mushroom, which would probably collapse, and if not that, well, then you're probably dead.
The way to see that is from the outside. I'm going to need a hand. I just...
Feel free.
The roof was constructed in full in Manchester, and then it was dismantled and reassembled in London through internal scaffold shoring from the inside of the hall. Every beam and element of the wrought iron trusses was then winched up to the top of the roof and then assembled in situ. The shoring was then removed once the roof had been completed in full and dropped by about 5/16 of an inch, or about 8 millimeters, which would have been a heart-stopping moment, I think, for all those involved.
All of which leads to the most startling thing for me, the reason I made this video. This roof, this iron and glass dome with all that equipment hanging from it, it's not actually connected to the rest of the building. It's touching, sure, it's resting just here. You can see where the two structures meet, but there's no cement, no bolts, no attachments at all.
Just gravity.
This dome is just so incredibly heavy that it's not going to move, and it hasn't for 150 years. 600 tons of iron and glass.
I wonder if it was in the if you just moved this building to the Midwest, if like during a hurricane or like a crazy tornado, I wonder if it would lift the roof up and throw it.
And a load of Victorian engineering. It doesn't need anything more, because anything powerful enough to shift this wouldn't be stopped by a couple of bolts. The roof of the Royal Albert Hall isn't actually attached.
Cool videos. Let's do one next time. All right. Love you guys. Love Tom Scott. See you guys next time. Bye.